Uh, yeah, it should be good. Yes, good.
Ready? Started? Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We were very honored to have this opportunity to speak at this summit. There is a lot of great youth entrepreneurship happening on the west, south side, all over Chicago. But we have two wonderful youth entrepreneurs sitting here with us today, and so we're going to allow them to introduce themselves, tell a little bit about why they started their business, and kind of some of the things that they're looking forward to as far as access and opportunity and leveling up in this next year. So, without further ado, you guys, can we start with just introductions? Can you introduce yourself? Tell us about your business, what you do, and what inspired you to start it?
Yes. So yeah, my name is Corey Phillips. I'm a 22-year-old entrepreneur. I teach financial literacy, economic development across the country. I've been featured in Black Enterprise, Chicago Sun-Times, as well as many other platforms. And I'm dedicated to being able to decrease the wealth gap within our communities and also be able to just create space for entrepreneurs. I create events, partnerships, workforce development trainings. And this upcoming week, I'll be hosting the biggest financial literacy conference called the Social Wealth Fest, where I have over 500 young people, 20 different speakers to be able to connect and grow on the West Side at Bethel New Life. So I'm just really grateful. I started investing at the age of 16. Now I'm 22. I've been doing it for about 6 years and be able to go and just empower young people that their voice is powerful and they can be able to be wealthy.
All right. My name is Corey Dooley Johnson, so we got two Corys up here. Funny thing is, before I introduce myself, me and Corey actually met here. Our first time meeting was here at the city was doing the business development summit,
Yeah.
something with BACP. So it's just so cool that happened a few years later. Now we're back, speaking on our businesses. But once again, my name is Corey Dooley Johnson. My company is Community Corey. I'm always out in the community. A friend gave me that name. And I love community development. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an entrepreneur. I currently published 4 books right now, a children's book, a storybook, and then a planner and a journal. My focus is really on building the next generation of leaders. Primarily, I work in the Austin community, but recently I got a chance to participate in the Navy Pier Small Business Accelerator program, which I'll talk a little bit about later. But that's been a really big step for my brand because it's really taken me from like local market to like citywide tourism and hopefully opening up to a national market.
So,
Can
thank
you
you
introduce
guys.
yourself as well?
I should introduce myself. Hello, my name is Janicia Williams. I'll be moderating the panel for today. My business is called Envision Urban Solutions, where I focus on community-based consulting around youth engagement and community building as far as data collection and research goes. So that's a little bit about what I do, but we're going to focus on these two rock stars in front of us. And so, guys, the next question really is around your early growth and support. What resources, programs, or people have been most helpful in your growth and development so
Yes.
Okay. I definitely say for me, the biggest resources I had for me coming up is I had a lot of mentors. Like again, I met Corey here literally about 3 or 4 years ago when I first started, and we've been able to partner. We actually did a thing called the Cortizip Meetup, where we had over 1 million views online, but also being able to collaborate with other people in the community. A lot of people think that you have to do things individually, but the most important thing is collaboration. So once we're able to collaborate and also take mentorship from people, it helped me go way further, way faster.
Yeah, I kind of echo the same sentiment as Corey. A lot of times, I've heard it that we reach up, but we don't reach across, right? Like we always reaching up to try to get to the top tier people, but we're not reaching across to the people that we work with every day. And so, as Corey mentioned, like we've done a number of events. One of them being the Chicago Quarter Zip Link Up. We were able to get the attention of the mayor and rally young people, and we've been able to do a lot more together versus separately. I also pointed out 2 organizations that kind of helped me get to the point where I'm at today and give me a lot of resources. I, in college, got an internship working with one of the business development organizations on the west side in Austin. The long name for it is Austin's African American Business Development, Austin African American Business Networking Association. And it was through that I got like exposed to economic development, working with businesses, And that kind of like gave me exposure to the different city departments, Department of Planning, Illinois DCEO. And then that made me want to be a business owner as well. And in that same building houses the Chicago West Side branch of the NAACP. And they did a great job as far as like connecting me with different organizations and different individuals who would help me. They have really like a boots on the ground approach. So anytime you're coming through a vetted organization like that, people automatically, they want to work with you. You name the organization and say the work that you've done, you kind of have already been vetted in that situation. So those are like two of the community organizations that have helped me.
Awesome. So it sounds like you guys have a wealth of resources around you, and so you've been kind of propelled forward. But have there been any spaces or opportunities or rooms that felt hard to access? And what do you think needs to change to make those spaces more accessible for youth entrepreneurs?
I feel like for me, the biggest, at first, it was just being able to get into different spaces because of my age. But for me, I never really looked at it as something that I waited for opportunity. I just went and created it. I feel like as people continued to see me be more consistent and be out there, people started to take me more seriously, and as well as I had my credibility. But I feel like just the biggest thing for me is just understanding that people can move forward even if they don't have all the resources or all the opportunities. And you'll go way further than trying to wait for the perfect moment. But I think the biggest thing is just coming to spaces like this and just being able to reach out and actually introduce myself to people, because closed mouths never get fed. And I'd say that you're just one relationship from getting that one opportunity that you want. So I wouldn't say I had a huge tackle. It was mostly just in me investing in myself.
One thing I say is a lot of times when I'm at events like this, previous to like my role, like working with youth, I was the youngest person in the room and like the only young person in the room. I love what I do now because it's connected me with other young entrepreneurs and other youth who I can now bring into the room with me. So it's not just me in the room, which is one good for learning information. And then kind of two, showing that you have an army of people to move and mobilize. Access to capital, right, is always one of the critical things that I feel like has been a barrier. A lot of resources that are out right now are for established businesses, not for like startups. You see in like more affluent communities, there's groups and organizations that have pots of money and resources that you can tap into. Versus, in our communities, it's kind of like you said, you kind of gotta like build it, you gotta collab, and you kind of gotta really grind it out to get it. So I definitely would like to see more. Events that are tailored towards like startup ideas, maybe the funding for that. And then a lot of times you get in the room and they tell you what you need, but they don't really like show you and handhold you through the process, which a lot of our entrepreneurs need, considering that a lot of us are first time entrepreneurs and we're not coming from legacy businesses. So we are really new to the process of learning. So those are some of the things, some of the feedback that I want to see.
Thank you for sharing that, and that actually kind of jumps ahead into our next focus, which is around funding and money, right? Being a young entrepreneur, you don't start off making $1 million. So what has been your experience with trying to fund your business to this point, whether that's been self-funding, grants, or other supports? How do you actually make your money?
I think for me, it's really about at first it's just me self-funding it myself. Some of the stuff I had to do was just invest in myself and to get into different spaces, whether that's camera equipment. But recently I've actually, I just won a pitch competition. I'm 2026 Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award for the WDB Legacy Conference. I pitched in front of 800 businesses, a $25,000 pitch competition just 2 weeks ago. And I appreciate it. And I actually won a Changemaker Challenge, a small grant with my school at my college at North Central College. I won that. Got second place last year. And now for this actual event, I'm starting to receive different sponsorships for events and things like that. But I feel like at first it was just being able to start it myself and then be able to, like you said, partner resources, whether that was we partnered, allowing me to use the space, or me being able to collaborate, put money together for different things for events. But I feel like for me, as I continued to go further, I started to just apply to different opportunities. You might not get them all, but I believe in every stage is opportunity to be able to connect and grow, sponsorship, speaking engagements, things like that, as well as doing programs. I feel like just over the last couple of years, as I grew it as an entrepreneur, be able to understand that if I had more systems and more partnerships, I'll go way further.
Yeah, same for me. Mostly self-funded right now, or applying for like a grant, one of the local community grants, for small amounts of money. I noticed that, especially when people know you, they feel like they don't got to support you. I don't know what that
Yeah.
is. Like people like the post, but they won't buy the product, right?
Mhm.
So, they'll text, "Oh man, you're doing a great job," but you won't spend $12 to buy my coloring book, right? But you probably just went to Chick-fil-A and bought you a lunch and spent 25 on that. And I don't think that is necessarily. I don't know if it's intentional. Maybe it's just because we haven't created that like ecosystem of supporting our businesses, especially like in the Black community. Or maybe people think that you well off because you got good Instagram posts and you like, oh, he's at Navy Pier, he don't need no help. My bank account is still at $12. Like I do need that. Don't let that leave this room. And look, I might be hitting up Corey. He got that 25. There you go. I need some equity in this company, but yeah, the funding structure is mostly self-funded. But I hope that I recently got an opportunity to have my products in Navy Pier, the storefront. So I hope with that'll help increase online sales and be able to increase some in-person sales.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing some really, really cool things. Even if it started off slow, you guys are rapidly excelling. And so for our final question today, we really just want to talk about what does leveling up look like for you in the next year of your business? Or in the next 5, because I know business owners like their 5-year plans. So what does that look like?
I think for me, over the next 1 to 5 years, for me is being able to definitely build a team. I do have a team in terms of people I collaborate with as far as doing events. I really believe in leveling up in business is understanding that if you walk away from your business and it doesn't operate, you just have another job. And for me, is being able to delegate some of the tasks towards other individuals, as well as leveraging AI, because AI is like one of the most innovative technologies. And since I've used that, since ChatGPT came out, it's helped me be able to just automate parts of my business, such as my like CRM systems, such as posting on social media, as doing outreach. I feel like for me, being able to maximize efficiency and then focusing on what I'm really good at, that's building relationships and that's being able to market. And then I delegate the other tasks that I really don't care for. I mean, like accounting, might be sales, and I delegate that to other people. So I think it's really about creating a system, but then also being able to focus on what I'm really good at.
For me, I would say what success may look like. You said this year and the next year.
Next 1 to 5 years.
I would say growing a team. A lot of this time, when you are a self-starter, it's just you. So I definitely, want to grow my employees. If I could even get, let's just say 5 employees, 3 to 5 employees, I feel like would be good. It would take a lot of like stress off me and the workload. And then I want to be intentional about hiring people that are younger than me, so they develop a skill set and are trained up that once they leave me, or if I'm not able to employ them, that they're able to go out into the workforce and get a good job. I would say that in the storefront as well, not just downtown, but somewhere in the community for people that can't always make it downtown. To have something in the hood where my products really mean the most. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I do is around like education, especially for like targeted like Black children. So I'd like to have a storefront in the community as well.
Awesome. Well, that is all for our panel today. Thank you guys so much for sharing your insights. I hope this was helpful for you all in the audience just to learn more about the experience that youth entrepreneurs have as they're trying to level up and become those $1 million business owners, multi-billion dollars.
Right.
Actually, we're not going
Okay.
to cap it at the millions, right? So thank you guys so much, and we will conclude this session.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yeah.
So, what made you guys basically almost made you want to turn what you do into a business, right? What was it?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I wanted to do in my business is that I understood that in some job or whatever I'm at might not have the true value that I want for my life. I mean, nothing wrong with working for a job. I believe in working somewhere, but I believe long term, the biggest person I can invest in is in myself. And if I know if I invest in myself, I can go way further. And for me, I'm always someone who just I like being able to be highly ambitious and goal oriented. So once I was able to understand that if I can maximize like those things I'm good at, I could be able to go way further than that. The future of like, I don't know where the future economy might be as far as being in Gen Z with the jobs. So I might as well work hard now so that I can be able to live that life I always wanted later. I think it's something like that. And the same thing as an investor, I believe like just knowing that the value of your money is going down every single day. The price of a house has gone 5x and your dollar is devalued by over 90% in the last 10 years. So if you're not putting your money to work for you, you're literally losing your purchasing power every single year. And either becoming, one way to do it is either make more money or find ways to cut the expenses that we have. And for me, investing, being an entrepreneur, being a speaker is one way I could have did that to help people, but also provide value for other people in our communities that we can, instead of us fighting over a block, we can buy the block, start businesses, talk about investing and building up our family's wealth together.
Yeah, for me, the executive director of the last organization that I worked at, AAA with, Malcolm, he put it to me like this. He said, in our community, we know how to do the social. That is, that's protesting. That is, like community centers. That's networking with our neighbors, food drives, things like that. We know how to do the political, right? We know how to get a policy passed. We know how to go to Springfield. We know how to elect our, elected officials. But he said the economical, a lot of times we like miss that. That's buying property, that's starting a business, things of that nature. And that kind of, and then that paired with the time that I worked at the organization, I was like, man, if I'm advising all these businesses, like I should probably have a business so I know what I'm talking about. My drive, particularly for what I do, I'm a survivor of gun violence. And so I wanted, when my first book, Little Shorty Love, I wanted to kind of put in there how I overcame that because I feel like a lot of the shorties is going through stuff, but no one is kind of telling them how to get through it and like the blueprint for that. So in my book, I kind of like built it out, kind of be a blueprint for them. Just because you go through hard things doesn't mean that you can't use that to be successful. So that's kind of where my passion and my drive came forward from starting a business.
Do you have any other audience questions?
I was just wondering, what's a piece of advice you would give to young entrepreneurs or maybe someone looking to start their own business, but they're unsure or just don't know where to start from?
The biggest thing I'd say for people that want to become an entrepreneur is that your business grows as big as you do. So if you're not willing to invest in yourself, then your business might not grow. And the biggest thing is understanding that you can't do it alone. Partnerships is truly the most valuable thing. And it's also about creating those different structures within your business. I know a lot of people are self-entrepreneurs, but being even by yourself, creating those specific areas, whether that's sales, marketing, operation, human resources, accounting, and breaking down those different categories for that. And then also being able to, like I said, just being able to elevate. It's about just a lot of it's relationships, but also understanding who your target audience is and what type of value that you're providing. We don't have to reinvent the wheel as an entrepreneur because a lot of things have been already created. But one thing you do have is your own unique story, your own unique perspective, and your own unique skill set. And that's something that almost anyone can do, regardless of whether that's a clothing brand or that's a manufacturing company. You can add your own unique purpose, your vision, and values to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I'd say, just utilize like AI and technology right now. I think one of the speakers mentioned it earlier. We grew up with this technology. We know how to use it. We don't know what the time was like before it. So they don't know that you used to have a coder to build your website. Like marketing, you had to put something in the paper. You had to have a budget. Just all these things that took so much time and money to start. But now with AI and technology, you can do all of that stuff. You can run your own ads. You can build your own website. You can build your own app, and have somebody put together a business plan for you. So I definitely just recommend them using AI and the technology tools that are available, and also to Corey's point, collaboration. Like that's the biggest thing. Collaboration, I feel like.
Any other questions? Definitely not what you know, it's who you know. That's why we're all here, right? Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you. All right, yeah.
Yeah, let's get a photo.
Good.